Ancestors. Yes. Peace to Dr. Cornell West. Yes. Peace to the movement. Yes. We came from the bottom. Ever since they got us, we've been going through these problems. 400 years behind and it's no promise that we gon' never actually be equal, to be honest. It's messed up how they put us in chains, kidnapped our language and changed our names. But when we speak Ebonics, then they call it a shame. They leave us with a couple options, rob us, slang, now we locked up again. How much can our skin take? We went from slaves to inmates, carrying the weight of the 50 states. Working your forms, black nannies carrying white babies in their arms. Black men sacrifice their lives in your wars, but you'll never show appreciation here at home. You treat us so damn wrong, you act like you hate my race. The police, they just beat us in the streets like an 808 bass. America, when will you defend my case? You never will, cause your freedom is fake. I'm only living here cause I wanna get paid enough to round up on my family and shake.
Get up, 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 get up.
They done tore down all the PJs in my barrio. Gang units for worst case scenarios. Might work, still a couple of quirks. Can't call it pancakes cause you're poor to serve. It's a whole lot bigger than a pretty new house, especially when the rodent's still running about. P. Diddy running marathons, races though. That's going to the school where the tax money go. Homeland Security, now there's a phenomenon. Pacifying folks by hanging Saddam. Troops still riding, still obliging, still no Bin Laden. Tuned in, waiting for the president's announcements. No 40 acres, take these 40 ounces. We ain't gon' get on the levees. Revolution televised early. Is you ready?
Why you wanna treat me so cold, America? I done gave you all that I own, America. Took me from my mama so young, America. Locked me up and gave me your name.
When you steady being forced to climb, the shit that had your back, have you be done lost your mind. Especially when you done been down for so much time. Getting up don't even really ever cross your mind. You got pawn shop, gun shop, liquor store sign, SWAT team, crack fiends, unemployed line. Stay late, dollar short, trying to buy time. What we do to survive is defined as a life of crime. You can't ball, then you force to grind. If you fall, then you cross the line. And I've been putting in work from 9 to 5 and 5 to 9. Since phone calls cost a dime. What it made me is one of the relevant, highly intelligent brothers, not only dealing with that same drug selling. If I'm a hustler, then what's more American? We all founded on the same thug heritage.
Why you wanna treat me so cold, America? I done gave you all that I own, America. Took me from my mama so young, America. Locked me up and gave me your name.
America, 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 you know the black freedom movement, constitution, moral conscience. You know we've been trying to redeem the soul of the nation, even as that nation been trying to render us soulless. But we are our soulful people, the blues people. We've been keeping alive the bloodstained banner of democracy. Thank God for those who came before. We shall never forget them and always move forward with grace and dignity.
America, why you wanna
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you so very much tonight on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday night all across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a hot show for you tonight. My name is James Cannon, and I'm riding shotgun on this ship tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got our captain coming in tonight, and she has a great show for you tonight, Dr. Mary Lee, y'all. So hit 1 on your phone if you want to get in this conversation tonight. We want you to come into this conversation. We want to open up our microphones to you tonight, and we want you to know about stuff that you need to know about. Or we want to talk tonight about stuff that you need to know about. And Dr. Mary Lee has some incredible insight that she's going to share with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm hoping that you're really, really excited. Those of you that don't know her, Dr. Lee passion is entrepreneurship for every person in the universe to change the lives of young disabled blacks and all the underserved communities. A successful business leader for more than 40 years, y'all. And she's coming with insight tonight. But before we move on to her, I want you to meet Miss Annetta, who's going to give us insight about our foundation and the connections and what we're doing in building our media with the 400 years. And we're so excited to have her on this show tonight. And then she will have the privilege of bringing to the conversation our host of this show, Dr. Mary Lee, Miss Annetta Jabari.
I'll take the Dr. Jabari. Thank you so much,
You take the Dr.
Shannon.
Jabari?
I'll take the Dr. Jabari. I tell you, I love practicing in a good way. Thank you so much, Mr. Cannon. And again, it's an honor to be able to support such an amazing team, with not only with Dr. Lee with her amazing success and her history, but you also, Mr. Cannon. We appreciate and respect you for what you've done as Nick Cannon's father, holding it down, allowing others to participate in not only his legacy, but to create our own legacies through working with the Nick Cannon Foundation, along with our amazing, incredible 400 Years campaign, which is to provide us in-depth understanding with the history of the African American community over the past 400 years as we rewrite our new history, as we've now collaborated with Dr. Lee and her team and staff. And I'm happy to be a part of that also, which is NCI, the Neighborhood Community Institute. And my, don't we need to collaborate in our communities, in our neighborhoods right now. So we are excited about this opportunity. James Cannon took us to Washington, D.C. We sat at the U.S. Capitol and represented with our youth, along with many, many icons, Bernice King, Dr. Martin Luther King's daughter. Nick hosted. It was a fabulous event that gave us an opportunity to expound even more. We'll be growing more from that opportunity. We're asking for the collaboration between NCI, or Neighborhood Commerce Institute, for us to be able to collaborate and bring about ambassadors to help us drive this campaign. Each of us have an area to contribute. We see now with our current situation in our country and around the world, we all need our community. We need our neighborhoods. And Nick has given us an opportunity as he supports what we are doing. And we've initiated, you can go to Incredible with an N, that's NCREDIBLE 400years.com. You can go again to Incredible400years.com. Log in, see what we're doing. We're adding more to that, but we are actually given an opportunity and a charge to start writing a new history. And as you can see, he is doing an amazing job of leadership. James, thank you so much for allowing and lending your time to Dr. Mary Lee. Again, a phenomenal woman with an incredible history. Jason, her CEO of NCI, amazing gentleman. He is keeping order and allowing us all to be able to participate as we create a nucleus that we were born to work in connection with one another. So we thank you, Dr. Lee, for bringing that on board with Nick's position as he sits as chair and ambassador for the nation. As we write a new history, the next 400 years will be told with a different narrative, and we're so grateful for that. So we're all in a position for this paradigm shift to make sense for not only us that are on this line today, but for our children, our children's children, and generations to come. So when you're able to give your voice and lend your time to support these type of endeavors, again, as James says, often none of us are good as all of us. Together we can do more. So I'm going to take this opportunity then to introduce Jason. I don't know if Jason signed on the line, Mr. Cannon. If he's on, I'll have him to come on before and he can bring on Dr. Lee.
Beautiful. That'll be great because Dr. Tatum will not be with us tonight. So before you bring on Jason, though, real quickly, Netta, can you just share briefly, and before Jason introduces Dr. Lee, our host of this show, briefly about in this time right now, just tell us briefly about what you're doing personally with your Just Breathe Foundation that you're setting up at this time where people are frantically all over the place going in and out the hospital, emergency situations, a time where we all just need to breathe. If you could just share with us on your personal visions on what you're doing, that'd be great before you introduce Jason.
Yes, well, I appreciate that opportunity. I am personally given and lended my structure of my foundation to Dr. Mary Lee and NCI so that I can allow this to go quickly. As we come together and connect, we are creating an opportunity for people when their families face that catastrophic illness, which we all will at one point or another. The statistics have proven, it's documented. 1 out of 10 families will face some sort of crisis, and we want to prepare families so that families no longer are torn apart. We know what the history of that does to our people and as a family. So my husband and I are taking on the responsibility of making sure that other people know how to breathe and not lose oxygen during a time of crisis. Such as a crisis as we have right now, there's many people suffering, and we don't know how to provide them proper counseling, funds, finances there to support the family to move on and move forward. So we're excited. I'm looking forward to spending some time with Jason, who is going to help us structure that component so that we have success not just in my immediate community, but across the nation, around the globe. And I just think when we bring our synergy together, again, the vision that Dr. Lee has provided for us all, none of us, including what we're doing with the incredible 400 years and rewriting the history, she has been supporting what James and Nick have provided, which is, again, an opportunity to write a new history. So all of us have a vision. I'm looking forward to some things that we'll be able to bring to the table also individually, but collectively. Mr. Cannon, thank you, but I am excited to be able to be on the ground level of our world, seeing a representation of what needs to happen, not what we want to happen, but to have people in position to introduce and induct our generations that will precede us. That we need to be able to have some structure in place so we no longer fall through the cracks and leave ourselves victims to other people making our decisions and mandating when, where, and how we do it. So this neighborhood opportunity, I live in Vegas now, and one of the council women said, if we don't recognize, not only through the pandemic, but through the protests, that we need our neighborhoods. We are safe in our own environment. And when we step out of there, our strength should allow us to face any challenge with support. I've been watching Cop Watch. I've been watching all the different things. I listened to Nick's incredible video. And if we don't realize that we've already made it through the 400 years, if we don't recognize now we are charged with a position to do something different. So I thank God for allowing us the opportunity to travel with Nick and you, James, to Washington, D.C. I was blessed to have my 13-year-old granddaughter along with Etan Thomas, who we know is a very strong advocate and outspoken gentleman, retired from the NBA. His son represented the Nick Cannon Foundation. as the youth that we want the strength. They wrote their own speeches, and they're changing the narrative of our young people. And Dr. Lee is setting up a program for our young people to get on air and speak because they have the voice. You know, they're old enough to be able to suffer these horrible inflictions. They need to speak on it and show how we recover, not suffer, but recover from action that's been extended to our generation of young people and those that will still to come. So Let's Just Breathe is an awesome opportunity. Again, I can't say enough about Neighborhood Commerce Institute to start preparing us how to make our money and to be able to create that those businesses within our own communities. I'm thankful that to be touching a historical opportunity with incredible 400 years.com and reach out to us. Don't just listen on the line. We know we've got hundreds of listeners out there, but act now, not later. Now is 2 to 5 seconds. Those of you that are Bible scholars understand Deuteronomy 4:5. You understand 2 to 5 seconds means now. So you can wait and miss it, or you can jump in right now and participate, get active. You've got some amazing leadership here on this call. I'm grateful to work under their tutelage, and I am, again, thankful. So, Mr. Cannon, if it's okay with you, thank you for allowing me that moment in time to be able to express my heart and my excitement and energy as to where we go from here. So, yes, sir. So I'm not sure if Jason is signed on. You will know that, Mr. Cannon.
I'm here.
Beautiful, Brother Jason. It's good to have you tonight. Take it from there, sir. It's an exciting show we have set up, sir.
Absolutely. Thanks for the introduction. As was mentioned, I'm Jason Williams, the CEO of the Neighborhood Commerce Institute. And our goal here is just to pretty much help our people succeed. Our mission is to help everyone pretty much develop economically, and then the vision is optimal financial success. And we're really out here looking and searching for these different communities to implement some of these strategies there. We're looking for entrepreneurs, business owners, people that want to start their businesses, and we want to make sure that they're structurally sound, financially sound, so they're able to go out and just do their jobs, and they don't have to worry about the back office. We want to take care of your legalities, your insurance, your bonds, your contracts, your marketing, your organizational structure, everything to help you be successful initially in there so you can be able to go out and do your job. So I give praise to Dr. Marion Lee. She's been at this a while, and I was really excited when she asked me and introduced the opportunity to me. And I'm just ready to go. I'm excited about the opportunity that Dr. Cannon is giving everybody. I'm excited about partnering with the Incredible 400, and we want to make sure that we're able to bring people on and really expand our reach and expand our network and build these portfolios. So when we go after these jobs, when we go after these bids, and when we're actually doing work in our community, we're recognized as a partnership, as a collaborative, and we can take our talents and expertise anywhere and compete with anybody else that's trying to do what we're trying to do. Yeah, that's what we're up to. So I just want to introduce Dr. Marion Lee. She's the president and the founder of the Neighborhood Commerce Institute. She will be our host tonight. Just ready for a great show.
Thank you. Thank you all so very much. I just appreciate you all. Can't tell you how much, Mr. Cannon, your visions, and you know, you're visionary, and you have so many just wonderful ideas and goals for this country, from the young to the old, and I appreciate that, and I do, with everything within me. I know that the work that we're doing together was strictly ordained by God. I know that, and I appreciate that, you know, that God found us all worthy to be here at this moment. Yes, and you know, you've definitely, you know, shown the world really what you can do in the lives of young people. And I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing. I'm very excited about the chance, this opportunity, the freedom that you've given to us, to myself, to Neighborhood Commerce, and everybody, here, all the team members to develop your James Cannon School of Radio Broadcasting and to inspire, others and to help develop others. I'm very, very excited about this. And, to everybody, God uses us all in a different way. Everybody has a calling on our lives. Everybody has a role to play. And as Mr. Cannon has the vision, then God prepares somebody else with how to take that vision and develop it into a material, tangible, into a tangible operation that is acceptable worldwide, And so that's kind of a gift that I know that God gave me. And it wasn't anything that I asked for. It wasn't anything that I ever planned for. In my heart, I've always been an entrepreneur, and I've always, somehow fell into this, the order of things. Like God has an order. We can look at the universe, and our bodies, our physical bodies, actually mirror the universe. So what did God have in mind? And so I've always been one of those that wanted to find out why and how things work and that sort of thing systematically. It's about systems. And so I truly believe, Mr. Cannon, I'm not going to say believe, but I know that God has positioned and prepared me to assist you and you assist me, and developing these projects, all of these projects that you've got, and particularly this broadcasting, it's headed for something very, very phenomenal. And I went to the school of education. I didn't know where I was going when I got done with my master's in divinity. And I'm like, okay, so where do I go from here? Because I figured I was gonna. At first, I thought about law school, and then I just looked across the campus, and there was the School of Education, and that's actually how I ended up in, the School of Education, for my doctorate in as an educational specialist, learning the system of education and curriculum and design, and so that was mine. God preparing me for today, and also for other schools that I've developed. I've developed schools from 12 charter schools, all kinds of curriculums. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I thank you.
Well, what's so excited about it is you're so easy to work with, and you're a wealth of knowledge to all of us. And when we're talking about entrepreneurship and money, that's what we lack, and a lot of us have been to school and we've done, our due diligence, but we didn't learn about money. And so you missing that class right there, many of us really, far as really how money works and where the money's at. So we just are glad to be able to come here every Wednesday and sit at your feet for truly a lot of the information that you've already brought. We can go back and research it. And I've went back and researched things that you brought, and it just made it so easy. God knows how to bring in angels and the right angels to get things done. I consider an angel somebody that's willing, ready, and able. They know what to do. They know how to put it together, and they know how to put that structure. So that's where you become so valuable. So we're just going to, on the behalf of your listeners, we appreciate you, and we're just going to continue to come every Wednesday, and as often as you show up, we're going to show up, sit at your feet, take notes. I got my notepad, taking notes of where I need to go do my research, because the Bible says in business, be men, and that's what, and that just means mature, you know, be men and be women, be mature. And so to be able to glean from you, to ask the right questions, to go back and do our research and come back week after week, your time is so valuable. So I just want to say how much we appreciate you for making your time available week after week to feed us on nuggets about entrepreneurship, 400 years of entrepreneurship. I just want to put up some more shows. Anybody else that want to help put up their show up under you, you are an excellent leader. Your show is growing because you are an excellent leader, and we can put other people up under you, and you can mentor them in this media game as well. I just simply say I appreciate you. I appreciate knowing you and working along with you every step of the way, my sister.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And same here. I want to thank Annetta just for your beautiful words of inspiration, and I absolutely love your Breach program. You know, God had to give you that a long time ago. I mean, for such a time as this, it's amazing. It's just amazing how God prepares us, and we don't even know what He's preparing us for. We have no idea.
Right.
And so
right.
This Breathe program is awesome, and I thank you for entrusting that into my hands and NCI. It's just a blessing. And thank you so much. And I would just
honor.
And you're just so welcome. Jason, I thank you. You're doing amazing work, and here again, all I could say is just God. I have a sister on the line. She's been here every single show, before the show, after the show, during the week, you know, encouraging me and being an inspiration. And I'm bringing her up because of the fact that, like yourself, you know, through my sister, I was able to meet you, and that just is to support the skill set that God has placed into you know, each person who's helping to make this like a real great success. And she knew, I mentioned that because she knew the quality, the type of person that we were looking for as CEO. And I just kept saying, okay, I'll just be so glad when that person comes along. And you know, lo and behold, you know, she met you, and right away, her wisdom, she knew what I was looking for, qualities. And so I can just say I thank you, Jason, for being here and working along with everybody. God just prepared you. My sister Deborah, as I said, she's always on the line, and she manages our administrative department of neighborhood commerce. And you've heard her before. You're here again next week. And so I thank you. In Dr. Tatum's absence, I want to say I appreciate Dr. Tatum, and he's definitely been supportive and an inspiration. So, you know, and we need to do this. I feel like we need to show love one to the other and show each other how much we appreciate each other. And like the people in the background, the tech people, Monte Caldwell, Christian Hill, Isaac Pooh. My daughter, she's always here too. She hasn't missed the show, and she's an engineer, but she's here. Also, Cherie, she always has been with everything that I've ever done. She's there, wanna help, and have her, we call it, positive feedback. And feedback, whether section or suggestion, is always, we should look at it as being positive, because people do not have to take their time. Nobody owes anyone anything except love. So when we, go beyond and do that, we should be very appreciative. And I am, God knows I am, so I appreciate you all. We've got, tonight, it's called a special. So this special show, tonight, we're just here to talk. I want to share with you. I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about. I want you to feel free to press the 1. Would you have a question? I will endeavor to get you right in and get your question answered. So just moving right along here. It's we can't even start any kind of conversation today without talking about the death of George Floyd, the one just before him, Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. They're not the only ones, but that, to watch what that officer did, it was totally and completely like, am I really seeing what my eyes are seeing? I mean, this man stood there knowing very well what he was doing, all intentional, from the expression on his face, his hands in his pockets, so comfortably in front of the camera, didn't even care. Didn't care. Like, he's so supreme, such a white, powerful, supreme. Like, I'm not going to get any consequences behind it. They'll just come up with a big old fabricated lie, as they always do, and I'll walk. I mean, like, for me, we've gone through so much stuff throughout the years. We know that racism totally hasn't gone anywhere, and that it is even more of a pandemic than the coronavirus and COVID-19. So what in the world, how do they expect us to respond? This man was crying and pleading for his mother. In this country, in so-called America, this is supposed to be okay? It's supposed to be okay? No. It's like, it's so painful to watch, and even to even continue to think about it. It's just, we as
Dr.
people. Yes, go ahead.
Dr. Lee, you're so absolutely right. To have 5 sons, I love my dad. My dad went home to be with the Lord 3 or 4 years ago. My grandfather, I knew both my grandfathers. To think that a son would have to watch on television someone murdering his dad or killing his dad, putting his dad in a position where he can't move, the imagery of that broke my heart. But when you go back and look a little closer, and I want y'all to look a little closer, Dr. Lee, and I just want to put this thought in. I know we got a powerful show for tonight.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Feel free.
If you look at that footage real closely, something that we missed, you're going to see the AMT worker, after he gets out of the car, out of the ambulance, walk over to this young man, take his pulse on his neck, okay, while the police officer still has his knee on the young man's neck. And if you watch that footage real closely, you're going to see the AMT driver walk back over to his gurney, put the sheet over it, and then walk back over to the police officer who still has his knee on this young man's neck, And he never said to him, get your knee off this young man's neck. He never says that or makes that gesture. And then he very forcefully reaches down and begin to handle this young man's head and never administers CPR at all. We don't see that. And so my question is, would that AMT worker need to be complicit and need to be brought up on charges as well? Go back and look at the footage. And when you look at the footage, you're going to see that that's a sheriff. That two sheriffs got out of that van, and they didn't administer any type of CPA. I thought they were emergency workers, not sheriffs. That they have on bulletproof vests and they have guns on their side, and they pick this young man up, put him on the gurney, put him in the ambulance, and drive away. Something doesn't seem right about that whole picture. So if we could get your audience to take a look at that, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but I think those emergency workers need to be brought up at least on incompetence. Dr. Lee.
You know, you absolutely, I'm in total complete agreement, and I believe you have mentioned to go back and take a look at you, and I know a few others. And I did. I went back because I didn't notice it at first either when we were first looking at it. I didn't notice that these were police officers. They were dressed in police in police uniform. So they weren't in fact emergency workers, were they? That's how I feel.
No.
And yeah, they weren't emergency. So they knew. Yeah, they should be charges should be brought against those two, because you see
they're quietly waiting.
Pardon me, Anetta?
Yes, they're sitting in the sidelines, hoping that because when there's a lot of energy, people hope that they can slip away through that energy circuit. But no, they absolutely, and our people will settle, and they will see that because they were absolutely inappropriate in every single sense of the word. And EMT is emergency treatment. That's for trauma, and that's what their medical licenses provide, and they did absolutely none of what equals an EMT. My son-in-law was an EMT, and I've got several friends from fire captains and all different. That right there, most people don't recognize that, but again, knowledge that's known and not taught, we all need to take those classes. You're right, Mr. Cannon. CPR was never even attempted to be administered, and that's the first line of defense to save a life. So they did absolutely nothing that would constitute care, their licenses, and as a people, again, knowledge is the power that gives us the ability to obtain the wealth in our communities, in our lives day to day, in our families, and educational fields. We need that. And as a nucleus, again, I can't say enough about NCI, Neighborhood Commerce Institute. They have a wealth of conduits that would allow us to learn. And Mr. Cannon, you are so observant. I'm more verbal tonight, I think, because I see that the power and the unity that it takes to come together, two major national and international organizations. Your son, Nick Cannon, is an international icon. Dr. Lee, you're bringing together an international synergy that will allow us, for whatever the platform is, we need to know who to go to and who to call. We can't call Malcolm X. We can't call Martin Luther King. We can call on God to come and intervene, but if we don't know how to ask for it, like you said, Mr. Cannon, has anybody even recognized that? Haven't heard one word about those EMTs and how trifling and just misrepresented in a field that gives love and care. They take an oath to survive lives, and they take an oath. And so many times, again, as a people, our neighborhoods, we don't have the understanding because we're in such a survival mode. But when God has risen up people that can speak eloquently so we can understand, then we can act on it. Most people don't act because they don't understand. Okay, so the knowledge that's known and not taught, this is a platform. And we need, again, ambassadors with incredible 400 years. And we need that collaboration from Neighborhood Commerce Institute because together it makes us strong. And again, James, thank you for bringing so much together to allow us to all collaborate. Dr. Lee, I can't say enough. You, Jason, it has been such an honor, but I'm going to step back and let some of our listeners tap in. But I had to say that and co-sign you, Mr. Cannon. You're absolutely 150% correct.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Annetta and Mr. Cannon. We have on the chat room a call. She said that she did see that too. She said, I saw that, and she said saw it clearly. That she saw it clearly, and do agree they need to be charged as well. And so there are ways, and like there are a lot of activist groups out there that are working together and protesting. Though one might not go out there and protest, another one will start a petition and sign a petition. Another one will take it to Congress and to the Senate, and another one, such as us, we will develop entrepreneurs. We will work with people to be able to use their talent and speak through their talent, through whatever type of services, in order to rebuild, to build. Yeah, these things are going on, and they talk about, don't get me on this, talking about looting. Talk about looting. They have, what do you think they're doing to our, with our lives? They've looted our lives for what, 400 years or more, and they still are. They're still looting our lives because they're taken away from us our identity. They burned down. They're the rioters. I mean, look at Tulsa and all of these other different times that they have destroyed our businesses. Even today during the peaceful protests, you've got those that have been hired, by white supremacist organizations to go out there. Numerous of times I've seen videos where the peaceful protesters were complaining about these white supremacists who were out there instigating the riots and breaking the windows and looting, starting the looting of the stores. For instance, I saw one of the protesters posted they arrived at their place to protest. They met up, and there conveniently were stacked a whole bunch of bricks. What were the bricks there for? They didn't bring the bricks. Right. Exactly. Who put them there? These people they have hired. And then, I don't know if you guys saw it, but then there was one where an actual officer had they caught the officer on video, and someone recognized that officer looting, breaking it, starting the looting in one of the stores. And so this is what they've always done. They've always set black people up to be killed.
Well,
they planted drugs. Yeah.
And Dr. Lee, the tragic thing is when we catch them and show, and we see that on camera, and this is the police, they're on the front line, it makes us wonder what's really going on in them prisons and jails with our young people. Because we're the type of people, if our kids do wrong, the mother would say, nah, boy, you ain't bringing that stolen stuff in here. I will call the police on you. You're not going to be no criminal. And we trust that when the police come and take our children away, they're going to do the right thing by them. We've got to trust for the police, and we will let them take our kids away, but we can't let them take our kids away if they're going to kill them right in front of us. It makes us wonder, what are you really doing to them when you got them locked down 24/7 in y'all's cages and jails? So it makes us want to question the whole system now.
That's exactly right. And we have to question the whole system. We want the listeners to chime in on this conversation as well. But yeah, we have to question the whole system, and we cannot. I mean, really, we have to come up with a plan and way to police our own neighborhood and set up a system for reporting to call. Like, okay, you got to call the police. Then we also have our own black police that we're going to call, our own neighborhood security or militia. I mean, we need our own policing. Bottom line.
Well, if they didn't grow up in this community, then they can't be no police officer in this community. Don't send other people into our community to police us. They don't even know the names of the streets. We know the names of these streets, but you will send people from outside our community to come in and police us and give them $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year to do it. No, if they're not from the community, didn't go to high school in the community, then they shouldn't be able to be no police officer in that community. Stop that foolishness, and that's half the problem right there. If we get young men from our community and pay them $70,000, $80,000, then they really got love for the community that they're in. All these other guys, they just pretending. They can't have love for a community they didn't grow up in.
Cannot. We have our audience in the chat room. She wants to know, what does the audience and panel feel about our people, our black people, starting our own police force and to police the police? It's been 400 years. They have dominated our community. Shouldn't we be over our own? And you just kind of already answered that. They don't even live in our community. She just said the same thing. She was saying the same thing that you're saying, and we can. I mean, under the law, we have the right to bear arms. We have the right to defend our property. We have the right to make a citizen's arrest. We have that right. And so I am 100,000% for us organizing and structuring our own police, military, whatever you want to call it, a militia. It doesn't matter. No matter what we do anyway, they're going to call us a hate group or a terrorist group.
A community love
that's
group.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I want to interject right there, Mr. Cannon.
Okay.
Oh, the Stop Hating campaign.
No, go ahead.
That Nick and the Stop Hating campaign is a perfect opportunity for those of us that understand. They think we have the hate. No, the hatred is not what the action is right now. But it takes me back to understanding my husband back in the 70s and 80s. He paid his way through the police academy because there was a time when our young men could not go through the academy because they couldn't afford to get in and get the training. Okay, so that was a stimulus set up. So it's either you get drafted or you better find yourself a situation where you're not going. At that time, he changed his name and he took on the last name of Jabari, but that was a choice to keep from falling victim to a society that would say we're going to use you so that we can protect ourselves. I'm not against the armed forces, but at the same time, we are not equipping our young men to understand the value, like you said, Mr. Cannon, like you're saying, Dr. Lee, to protect our communities. So we have to start embodying so many knowledges that are known and not taught to our communities, our young men. This youth radio show will help to give them options as we can prepare them and to be our leadership. We have to be able to begin right now because they are impressionable. And what they're seeing right now, we have to switch their narrative. So their trajectory is different than what they've been programmed to believe that it is. So we have such a major responsibility. And Mr. Cannon, that is brilliant. I've heard Dr. Lee, her and one of her companies, they do that. They protect. They have a security force, not a couple of officers. They're not security trying to say, oh, we might do. They're not rental cops. These are people that are trained to protect our people, you know. So we know it can be done. Oprah's own network, she's showing what Cop Watch will do. They got men and women, young and old. They're out there overseeing their communities, like you said, Mr. Cannon, because only you know who that clown was, who that class clown. He's harmless, but I know him. Get him over here. I know his mother. Sit down. We're going to work this through. So I know we got to go back to, again, the neighborhood. We know what's in our community, and we're not afraid in our own. And others, when you send someone, an alien, in to your communities, absolutely they're threatened by that because they don't know our tribal language. You know, I received an award from Tony Brown, and a phenomenal broadcaster and leader, and he shared at my awards service. I never heard anything like that, and I shared it with Dr. Lee. I don't know if I have it to Mr. Cannon, but when we learn how to communicate within our own ranks and know what we're saying, like is what's happening right now, we know why they're protesting. We know why they're looting. Some of it may be unacceptable, but we know within our own ranks what needs to happen because the kingdom of God suffers violence, but the violence will take it by force. Sometimes we have to understand the force is not a negative. You know, we watch Star Wars, the Force be with you. No, we got the Force. We got this. But it's not being guided in the proper channels to establish the layers and, again, the step grading into where we need them to be. So when I become that 90-year-old, I don't have to worry about them rolling up like they have on our seniors with guns and weapons and putting them in fear and intimidating them. We have our own. This son said, no, that's mama down there. That's grandma. No, we can't go. What does he do? So we have to bring back our neighborhood money and care. And, again, there's nobody stronger than Mr. Cannon. You got such a passion for the young men. Again, God, it wasn't by accident to have 5 amazing sons. I'm so fortunate to know all 5 of them. They're phenomenal young men. I was sharing with Dr. Lee, incredible young men, incredible. And you don't just speak it. Sometimes it's just like, oh, my God, how many times are you going to say, write the book, get on the radio. But, again, faith comes by what? Hearing and hearing and hearing. So I get it.
Right.
And Dr. Lee, thank you for manifesting some of these things. And I'm going to stop right there. But, yes, neighborhood officers, perfect.
Feel free. Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely. And that's what we're here for. Thank you. That's exactly what we're here for. I think we are. Do we have any callers? I also want Jason and the tech people and to chime in. Your young men, chime in on this subject. Christian, Monte, you feel free to jump in here. Say who you are. And chime in. Do we have any questions? I also forgot that if you don't get called. Okay, go ahead. I heard somebody. If you have a question and your line isn't being opened or something's going on, you can also text your questions to 984. 244-0703. That's 984-244-0703. You can check questions in as well. So who do we have out there who wants to chime in?
We have one person that has a question or to chime in.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Tanya. I reside in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have more of a comment. I work in operations for the healthcare staffing industry, and I've been doing so for a while now. One of my biggest accounts is a corrections account. It's a newer account for me, 30 facilities in 8 states. My day consisted of corporate calls because these facilities are literally preparing for us. They are preparing for the influx of prisoners that they expect to receive because of the protest. I was sick all day because this is what they're thinking of. The capitalization off of what we're going through and the peaceful protests and the protests that go awry, this is what they're waiting on.
Okay, we have someone who wants to. So you're saying can you repeat for me? You say you're in the healthcare.
Yes, I'm in healthcare,
Tanya?
the healthcare staffing industry. So I do operations.
Healthcare
so
staffing
for the most
industry.
Part,
okay.
Yes.
And so you said they are waiting to capitalize on the casualties of the protesting.
Correct. Every facility, there's 30 of them spread out in 8 states. They are ready to capitalize on the protest. The calls today were in regards to what they're projecting as far as the increase in prisoners that they're projecting to see. So this is, it's still a money thing for them.
Right. And so we know that if they're projecting this, then they apparently have to be a part of the plan. I mean,
exactly.
You see what I'm saying? They have to be a part of the plan to be making these types of projections. Just like they know the ones who are funding these fake protesters out there, and the ones that they're literally paying their money to be out there to instigate a riot. And you'll notice that they never ever get hurt. They never ever get shot, or they never get those rubber bullets. They don't ever get hurt. I mean, if I was advising anybody who's going out there, black people, to protest or walk or march, I would say stay as close to them as you possibly can. That's what I would say. Intermingle. You'll see that there's a kind of like of a separation. You have to watch out for that kind of a thing. When you're out there, just because they're like out there, you think they're with you, they're not always with you. Now, yesterday, I drove up on a protest that was in a all primarily white. It's like 99% white community, and so they were on both sides of the street with Black Lives Matter signs and chanting Black Lives Matter, no justice, no peace, chant their signs. And so, yes, I stopped and we talked. And so this is what white people should be doing. They should be in their own neighborhoods. If they're really, really, really real about bringing about a change. I'm not saying some don't go and join the black protest. Then I also say go over to your own neighborhood and let your white neighbors and your white politicians know that we're here about a change. We don't support this. We believe in Black Lives Matter. And do it in your neighborhood like these people were doing yesterday. So we got another comment here, a comment or question that says, they're not even protecting us in many ways. I see that my son at age 16 ran away from home to be with his girlfriend. I had to drive over 100 miles to get him. He refused to leave with me, so I called the police to assist. They failed me, had nothing they can do. I had to leave him in a community where there was nothing but violence. I asked them, why would they not do anything? Is it because to leave him on the streets for the streets to kill them, or they themselves? My people should have been available to help me. And that's absolutely right. We should have had in that neighborhood, in that community, there should have been black military. There should have been black police, black security, someone who this mother could call on. Now, I received an instant message just day before yesterday with a similar situation. The girl is 15 years old. The mother, she says her daughter is 15 years old, and she has called Child Protective Services. She has called the police. An adult man, I don't know how he got her, but it has her somewhere in a house somewhere, and heaven knows what could be going on. You know, all this sex slave stuff going on and all of that. So, yes, we need to be protecting. We need someone else to call. For the life of me, I have no clue as to why Child Protective Services and or the police haven't gone to this adult man's location. She has posted where she gave it to me through Instagram, and as well as she even has it posted on her Facebook where her daughter is. Picture of the man who's got her daughter, and he looks like he's 3 times her age. And you can see that he's some violent type of a person. Now, why haven't they gone there and got that 15-year-old girl? So,
hey, Dr.
Lee, I want to interject. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Is that Jason? Listen, I want to go back, and you're right. All of these points are so relevant. I wanted to go back to Tanya's question that she brought to the table regarding the institutions that are preparing. We have got to emphasize to our young people the value that their bodies, they are commodities to the institutions and the criminal justice system. They are commodities. Like, they're worth a lot more money locked up. So they don't always see it like, I know right now they're seeing it as the police, but it's an economic situation, and it's a stimulus to see all of. That's why they're pulling them away. And my point is this, James, you can elaborate on this. James had a son, one of his 5 sons, who was walking across the street with all the other people, and he was pulled over for jaywalking, and he went to jail in Las Vegas. He was actually there working with his brother Nick on one of the big conventions, and he had on his Stop Hating T-shirt. Well, with this T-shirt, and then, James, I'll let you take it from there because I know this is so valuable, and our young people have to know the inside to that because he, too, was a young man. I think he was at that time, maybe he was a teenager, maybe just, if nothing else, 18. James, you can speak on that because so many of us need to understand our young people get in situations, and you're right, they don't know who to call. Fortunately, because James is a hands-on parent, and he has sons, and some would call him a very strong, dominant parent, okay, but they knew where to go, and he kept them surrounded with people that could advise them in certain ways. But again, I would say to you, Tanya, we need to be able to let our people be educated as to what they are as they're walking and they're protesting. They need to know on the flip side of that, you are worth a whole lot more money on a daily basis. They want you to do something that they can provoke and to get them in a situation. But, James, if you don't mind, just real quick, giving that plug for Gabriel's book. Gabriel Cannon has a book out on Amazon. Mr. Cannon, you're not there. That's okay.
Mr. Cannon? Yeah, he is. Yes, he is.
Mr. Cannon's called.
James? The call dropped. Okay. That's okay. But, yes, he's got a book out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and it was he got arrested. How you get out of being arrested for jaywalking, okay? Because he wasn't jaywalking. He was in the crosswalk, but the light had turned red. So something that minute would have gotten him locked up, but they didn't know he had a father, and they didn't know his brother was Nick Cannon. So what I'm saying is they infused him. He did stay the night. His father said, no, son, you stay there. When the next 24 hours are up, you will have had your book completed, and he did it. So what I'm saying is we challenge our young people to understand understand the system and why, and he's never been locked up again. That's what I'm trying to say. The understanding and what she's saying, Tanya, that's not just in those 8 states. That is globally, but it's necessarily impactful in our country, especially with our young. If we have the highest percentage of incarceration, there's a lack of understanding somewhere. Yes, there's a whole lot of innocent people are suffering in their lives. I watched the America's Got Talent of Young at 37 years. Like you said, Dr. Lee, this child might be 15, 16 years old with this old man taking advantage of her very clearly, you know, but perversion has been since the beginning of time. But education and knowing that they've got a support system, someone that they can go to, because so many of our young people are so pressed and oppressed by these situations. They don't know where to go. But, yeah. So,
right. Jason, you were about to get your check. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, we had a
Thank
comment
you about
on the line.
Okay. Oh, you have a question? Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Deborah, and hi, Tanya. I'm also calling from Raleigh, North Carolina, City of Oaks. What I was calling on, Arnetta kind of elaborated on just now, and I had an incident some years ago with my son who was 16 years old at the time. But the point is, what she was just saying was basically our prisons are privately owned. And a lot of people don't know this. And so they do what they do to capitalize on the blood of our people. Some years ago, my son was 16. He was about 16 years old. He ran away from home to be with his girlfriend. And this was a girl that he met, you know, in school, fifth grade. And he ran away from home, something that he had never done because he, I guess, then thought that he was really in love with this person. I had to drive over 100 miles to go and get my son. When I get there, he wouldn't come with me. I called the police thinking I was going to get some assistance. They failed me. I feel like they truly failed me. I had to leave that city, drive back home without my son. At that time, I did not know that prisons were privately owned. But now I understand why they did not assist me. I'm like, this boy, he's 60 years old. He needs to come back home with me. I said, well, can you just take him to some type of juvenile facility or do something to get him off these streets? Because where he was, there was nothing but violence. There was nothing but killing. I didn't want to leave him there. But he didn't come back with me. And they failed. They failed me. So I'm one of the ones who chatted in and saying how I truly believe that our people, we really need to wake up and see really what's going on. We can talk, we can walk, we can march, we can protest, we can do all of that. But all of that is not going to mean anything if we do not come together as we need to and police the police in our own communities where they don't even live. And like I would say Dr. Cannon, how he mentioned they don't live around us. They don't know what we go through. They, in fact, don't care what we go through. All they're doing is trying to take us out of here and make money off of us. And so that's pretty much all I really want to say. And thank you.
That is so true. That is so absolutely true. Is there anyone who want to chime in on that statement? Mr. Cannon? Oh, that's right. His phone dropped. Jason, you were about to say something, but that is so absolutely true. They want us for that free labor in the prison. They want our organs. They want us for the sex slave market. You name it, they're after us. Period. And we as a people must understand that. And it's so extremely important to work together as one through these collaborations for change. That is the absolute only way. The absolute only way when it comes to the paperwork, when it comes to everything that we want to do and attempt to do, we must do it together as one, because as I often say, out there as a lone ranger is not going to get us anywhere, period. So I know Jason has comments, I believe, or I would love to hear from the young men who are our tech team, on this topic.
Absolutely. This is Jason. The way I feel about this situation, I think that we have to find a way to not be dependent on governments, not be dependent on other people to, police us, to give us medical needs, to give us grocery stores. Like, we have to own our own. Like, if we own the block, we control the block, we police the block. The police aren't able to come in. Like, you have white neighborhoods that are set up. Like, I'm from Durham, North Carolina, and there are places like Trayburn, $1 million homes. The police don't go there. We living in public property that's city-owned. The police set up a shop right beside your house. So I think one of the key things is ownership and building these systems around what we do, making our education systems better, putting our own people in place, grooming politicians that are able to go up here and lobby for what we need. City councilmen, mayors, like, we have to be able to build our own systems and get people into places that we need them, so we can be able to advocate for these outside people, these outside places where we're still going to have people, but we have to have the right people in place to be able to combat what we're seeing out here. You're looking at things like in Flint with the water issues, taking lawyers 5 years just to be able to sue for a problem that we know exists. That there should be just human love for mankind, that, yeah, we want to fix this lead problem. Yeah, we made a mistake by switching the water source, but they had to go to the Supreme Court and fight for 5 years just to be able to now sue, and we still don't know what the outcome will be. The same way we see these police officers murder our people in the streets, and then they go to court and they get off. It's because we don't have the right people in place, and we got to start putting people in places where they should be, and we got to plan from young. Like, you grab kids up the same way we do Boy Scouts. Let's do politicians. Let's do police officers. Young ladies the same way, Girl Scouts. But we really have to be conscious about owning our own spaces and putting people in these places where these decisions are being made, and the people that we put there, they can't be scared. But they also have to know that we had their back, and, we're fighting for a common goal.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And the finances, the money, we have to be about the money the same way they are about the money. It's absolutely imperative that we do. And the stuff that we need to know about, there's a lot of stuff that we need to know about. And so I just kind of want to get into that just a little bit, because the policemen, the taking over our neighborhoods, all of these types of organizations and things are absolutely available to us. There's funding even to be able to do it without any question. We can do it, and that's what neighborhood commerce is about. It's about the resources and how to access those resources. And we hear about collaboration, but I'm going to talk about a little bit. Do we have any questions before I go into start talking about this? The one thing, the Community Development Corporation. Now, you heard me talk about the CDCs. You heard me talk about it, those before. Now, the Community Development Corporation are not-for-profit organizations that provide programs. They're organizations incorporated to provide programs, okay? Just as simple as that. They offer services and engage in activities that promote and support community development, okay? Community development can be anything. It could be any of these types of activities. It could be real estate development. It could be establishing affordable housing. It could be buying up and rehabilitating houses, just as Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity was established with money that we as a black people in our neighborhoods can also access. We can get that same money. However, you will notice that Habitat for Humanity is all over the country. In every city, there's a Habitat for Humanity because the organizations that get the money are servicing many, many people, supposedly anyway. When they write up their request for funds, they're saying that they're servicing or reaching so many millions or thousands of people. That's how they get the money. And any one of our services, any one of our programs can become a nationwide program. We're about taking your ideas, whether you're in healthcare, so real estate, that's what we're talking about, real estate development, affordable housing. So we can bring together those people who are interested in real estate, and you become like, picture a department within a large business or large organization. So you become a department. Your department might have 10, 15, 20, 100, 200 people who are interested in developing real estate, in real estate. So therefore, you become a powerhouse. Why you see Caldwell Banker all over the country. You see Real Estate One all over the country. So I want to try to break this down where each person can understand that regardless as to what type of business that you have, it's about duplicating that business. You must duplicate that business. And you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't know how to do that. We know how to do that. We know how to do it. We know how to do exactly what they have done with McDonald's. And each store, like Subway. So you might have an idea for a restaurant. When you bring it to us, we'll help you to develop your local restaurant. But we're also looking at duplicating that restaurant or bringing all of these people who want to do restaurants together. So it really doesn't matter what type of business. You have the activities include, real estate development. That's one. Next one, economic development. Well, what is economic development? Okay? So economic development includes that we're talking about money, okay? You need money. The economy or economics means money, dealing with money. So economic development can be a business providing small business lending. You know what you hear about microloans and that sort of thing, a small business lending. It can provide small business technical assistance. Technical assistance can be administrative services. It can be business planning, that sort of thing. It can be your legal work that has to be done, your budgeting. That's technical assistance. Then small business incubation. Small business incubation is providing space at a low cost or no cost to start up businesses. So what I'm saying here is a community development corporation can provide real estate development support. That could be your activity in your neighborhood. You could provide economic development. Okay, how to bring helping businesses to get started, grow, to expand. Another thing a CDC can do is education. So I'm trying to show you how we can take over our neighborhood. And there's money and funding for each one of these particular and more activities. So education, early childhood education, workforce training, okay? Become an auto mechanic. You can establish your own beauty college or your own culinary school or your own any type of school or learning, training. That's called life skills training, carpentry, any type of life skill. Life skill is a skill that provides income, that it contributes to your livelihood, that contributes to your living. So any type of life skill training or workforce training. And Tanya being in the in the job placement services, understands, the caller who called understands what we're talking about. So education, it doesn't just stop at early childhood education. We can also develop our own school within our own community. And in light of the pandemic right now and COVID-19, this is a grand opportunity, expanding education to our own people. Another activity is nonprofit incubation. And what that means is fundraising for local causes. As a corporate donor, you can go to corporations. There's funding out there. So this is a service that can be provided through a CDC, public charity or foundation, financing housing cooperatives or other types of cooperatives. You can have a cooperative to start up a grocery store within your neighborhood. We can have a cooperative to provide the security, to police the police. That is a cooperative. These are things that a CDC, Community Development Corporation, can do in the neighborhood. It can cover, we're basically covering every aspect of life. Okay, a CDC can be established also as to provide youth and leadership development. Okay, so you might just want to do that. That's it. All I want to do is work with youth, and Ms. Cannon is big on that. So a CDC can be just for youth and leadership development. The advocacy activity, sustainable development advocacy. You know, we need that power, that voice. So a CDC can be organized to provide an advocacy for CDC. We're not talking about protesting and all of that sort of thing, but what we're talking about is, okay, we're here for you for what you want to do. You're having a problem getting money. You're having a problem over here. You're trying to apply for funding or trying to go through a corporate giving or through bank, they're not listening to you. They're not listening to you. So a CDC can be established just as an advocacy, period. And we're not talking about a political pact. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about someone who will intervene in our neighborhood behalf. And here again, we're talking about monies that's available to do these things. There's funding that's available to do any of this with. Community planning. You can set up a CDC to provide the planning for your neighborhood. Okay, we're going to pull this neighborhood together. We're going to get in real estate development. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to clean up these yards. We're going to start security in our neighborhood. That is community planning. You come together. We're going to start up these businesses, or we're going to rebuild. Okay, right now the protests that are going on, that instigators are turned into rioting and doing all this looting, those communities and neighborhoods are going to have to be rebuilt. So, some of the business owners might stay, some of them might not come back. They might give up the property. So a CDC can come in, or you can be organized to plan that what is going to happen in the community, with all of these different looted or who might not come back. And even if they come back, okay, hey, we're going to have input on how you're going to operate in this neighborhood. We're going to come up with a master plan for retail and community development. And that's going to be done through this new CDC that we're about to establish, you see. So you can set up a CDC just for planning, This is what they do. This is what they've done throughout this country. So and then you can set up a CDC just for organizing, just for community organizing. It's like right now, if certain areas had a neighborhood commerce CDC, it could be there just to lessen or look up the neighborhood tensions that are going on. So it can provide different types of group meetings, just a town hall meeting, talk about what we're feeling here. A CDC can do that. It can be a community just for organizing the community, to facilitate the community and the stakeholders' participation, within local programs and activities. So these are things that a CDC can do. We really and also facilitate community access to targeted grants. Now, everything that I've named here, the facilitating the community access to targeted grants, all the way back to the real estate, that is actually governing and building a neighborhood. So CDCs do exist. They do exist. They're more than 4,600 CDCs throughout this country that have been established to do all of these things, okay, in our neighborhood. And they've been established to do this stuff in our neighborhoods without any of our input. We haven't even been a part of planning, haven't been a part of the organizing. We haven't been a part of accessing any of the funds to build. We don't even know what the heck is going on as a people in our own neighborhood. We watch things happen and they don't invite us to come to the table to be a part of that planning and a part of that development. That's what pees me off to no end, because for 40-plus years I have sat and been a part of the organizing and planning and for retail and for all of these different things that I've talked about here in our neighborhoods, and none of our people were even invited in to sit at the table. They brought in their own people, as one of the listeners said, from another community. Like all the police that are in our neighborhoods are from other communities. They don't live in our neighborhood. They're not from our neighborhood. And so they're doing the same thing with the money. The money is sitting there, been allocated, but they bring everybody on the outside to come in and manage the money through these CDCs. And these CDCs we can't control. So there are 4,600 CDCs out there. Someone do the math. Less than 1.5% are controlled and operated by black people. And the funding is for low-income, at-risk, blighted communities. We need to know this. We need to know what they are doing. They're out there physically shooting and killing up our people, killing us up, and then they're also economically destroying us, killing us in our communities. I'm trying to make this just as plain as I possibly can. We are not at fault with what is going on. We have been attacked from every side. We've been destroyed and killed and looted from every side. So this is why, hey, young, don't tell me that this is wrong, that they're being violent, that they're doing this and they're doing that, the protesters, because they walked into a store that they probably didn't even break the window out of and go in there and walk out with something. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear any of that, period. You guys have taken our goods already. This is not yours. If they walk in there, they're getting what's really, truthfully, rightfully ours to begin with. It's rightfully theirs to begin with because it was money that was brought into their neighborhood to build this store or this particular business that they didn't even get a chance to sit down at the table and say, okay, we want this kind of store, or I want a store. I want a business. How do I get one? But they're using the money that was allocated for our neighborhood, so I don't want to hear it, okay? I do not want to hear one word about looting because these people are the largest, the looters and destroyers that there is. Talk about thieving. And then we got this orange-haired guy sitting up here. Oh, we're going to bring in the National Guard. We're going to bring in the military. We're bringing it back insurrection. Are you crazy? Then we need to have our people right there ready, our black militia right there ready for them, and to defend our own communities, our own homes. We cannot continue to allow these people to destroy our neighborhoods, to take our economy, to take our money, and to take our lives. We cannot do it. We cannot do it. Together, I know for a fact we can take over the money, but we have to be together, just like with the James Cannon Broadcasting School. It's a start. It's a huge start. So we all come up under the same umbrella. Start up 1,000 shows, fine, but we need to be under the same umbrella. We need to be under the same standards of operation. We should be one, so that when we go and say, okay, hey, we got all these shows, we want a license. We want, I forget what it's called, but we want a license for our own airways, you see, so that we can truly have our radio show. We own it ourselves. Go to FCC and get what we need in order to make it all happen. That's what Neighborhood Commerce is about. That's what Dr. Lee is about. So what we want to do, the quest, you have all the support that you need to do anything you want to do through this organization, through Neighborhood Commerce, because we will provide. We are providing. We're providing the tools through our. First, we have the tools. We have the people to do the planning for you, to assist you in the planning, to not only assist you in the planning, to help you to build your CDC, to help you to organize your neighborhood, and to help to bring them on board at every single level, from the neighborhood, from the street to street, house to house, street to street, neighborhood to neighborhood, city to city, county to county, state to state, region to region. We have it covered. Whatever type of professional services that are needed, we have it covered. You really don't have to do anything except join us to become a part to. And when I say join, I mean you join us by agreeing to NCI as a participant business or participating individual, as a collaborator. And once you do that, then you're going to receive an operational plan, how we operate. And your business will fit into there. Our quest is to build, support CDCs. NCI is the national, international support, corporate level. CDC, okay? We're worldwide, okay? Underneath that, then we become nation. Then we have the support for you at a national level. We don't stop at the national level. We were going to be establishing offices, operations in every state, just like the government has set up. So in every state, there will be there is an NCI state services. So at every level, to the city, all the way to the neighborhood CDC will be the office where the local people go. It's like a community center. And we're familiar with community centers from years ago. So the community will be like a community center. You got a problem, we don't care what kind of problem it is. You need food, you need clothing, you want to start a business. You got a problem with the police, then you go down to that neighborhood NCI office, okay? They will handle intake. They will handle at the neighborhood level what you, in signing you up as a participant. Okay, so see, once you become a participant, now we're building the numbers, you see. We're building the numbers of participating people that's going to be required for us to get grants, for us to get monies that we needed. Okay, there's no charge at that particular level, not at all for the neighbors to come in. Hey, I live next door, across the street, around the corner. This is my region. Every city, this is another thing that we have to know. We need to know that every city has what's called designated neighborhoods. And so within that each designated neighborhood, we want to have an NCI community center. In this country, there are 234,000 designated neighborhoods. They have a name to it, I'm trying to think of one that maybe everybody might know. But anyway, every city is broken down by neighborhood. And at the city government level, monies are allocated to these neighborhoods in their city master plan yearly. So what we need to know is that they've already set aside, or supposedly have set aside money for your neighborhood. Now, if they had set money aside for the neighborhood, then we have a problem. But what they do is say, oh, did nobody come from their neighborhood to the table? How did they even know about it? So this is what the neighborhood commerce, neighborhood CDC will eliminate. We will eliminate that problem for them because we're going to be engaging people local in that neighborhood, letting them know what types of monies are available to them, and then facilitating it at that local level. So then at that neighborhood level, then it'll go to the city level, okay? Everybody in those different neighborhoods collect up all of their neighbors, okay? And then it goes to the city NCI office. The city NCI office is start categorizing those different participants based on whether they want to do real estate, health care, homes, or schools. Then they start categorizing the different interests that they have, okay? So then we'll end up with, so many different types of people who want to do something in education. And we categorize them. And then we take their visions and their dreams and whatever they want to do, and then we come up with the master plan. We then join the city because they've already keeping in mind that the city already has money that has been brought down to them or funneled down to them from the state level. The state has money that has been funneled down to them from the federal government level. Okay, so NCI corporate keeps up with all of that. We know what is supposed to be going into the neighborhoods that's not getting there. So through your CDCs that we will establish locally, then you will then have access what's available in your neighborhood. And if they're not, which 9 times out of 10 they are not budgeting your money, your neighborhood into the master plan budget, we're being left out. We will make sure, this is how we make sure, this is where the collaborations are extremely important, so that we can then go and say, hey, we've got this many people. Do you see how then with this, it's impossible for them to deny us. Totally impossible. The money is for us anyway. This plan allows for us to take our place really take our place at the economic table of the United States and worldwide. Because what we have done, this plan, we have created a resident. The resident meaning the people who live there, community development corporations, CDC, that are run by, led by the residents. Does this make sense? Anybody got a comment or a question? Anybody? Somebody? I want to hear from somebody.
Dr. Lee, this is Annetta. This is wonderful, and I think the most amazing part is that this is something that's been accessible to people, non-African American communities, and it's great that you're able to bring this about and bring what you have yielded yourself to for so many years in other communities to allow our people to understand the gift and operating and working within their neighborhoods and communities. So thank you so much for the vision and what you have brought.
Thank you. Thank you. You're so welcome. Is anyone out there, anybody out there got a question? Because I can continue to talk. We've only got less than we've got about 12 minutes left. Any questions? Okay.
There aren't any questions right now.
Go ahead.
If I just wanted to comment, I think when people understand the concept, when people understand the structure of what we're talking about, it's as simple as everyday life. Nobody wants to drive all the way across the town to go to Walmart, Target, Food Line. These are things that we're going to put in place for each neighborhood, each community to have their own. You walk outside, you got your own houses, see your own people. There are no conflicts of interest because you're having a cookout this day and, they want you to be quiet so the police are called in. Like, these are things that culturally we understand, and when we're together, like, we're fine with it. We want to shop at our own restaurants. We want to be able to start our own businesses. We want to see our own products. Like, these are things that are very feasible if we come together and structurally are sound, and we can take that pressure off everybody that wants to do these types of things, and we can really take the pressure off the Neighborhood Commerce Institute and let you do what you do, whatever that is, whether you have a gym, whether you want to cut the grass, whether you want to have a restaurant, whether we can set you up a grocery store, whether we ultimately get a bank in that community. Like, these are things that we can absolutely do, and it's not as difficult as one may think. But it takes trust, it takes partnerships, it takes conversation. And then at the end of the day, once this is set up with the people in that community, when it's run by the people in that community, we're going on to the next community, and we're going to add a whole other portfolio to what we've just done and what we've been doing.
Thank you, Jason. And keep in mind what we're doing. We're not doing anything outside of the city plan. Every city has developed a master plan. Now, you know that we should be at the table contributing to development of the master plan. When we're part of that plan, we're supposed to have say-so in that plan. And who's going to do what? You see, there are multi-billions, trillions of dollars for these cities for building. Everything from energy, waste, to real estate and community programs, community projects. But they want to give us just a tiny, tiny bit, of what's called the Community Development Block Grant, which we don't really have time to go into, but that's something else that's stuff we need to know about. This is stuff that we need to know. And we're not saying everyone starts the CDC. No, the leaders in your neighborhood are charged with starting a CDC. Those that who are outspoken already, who are active in the community already, doing certain things, whether it's with their church or other with their schools or Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Habitat for Humanity. Those who are leaders, they might already own a business. They can expand that business into a CDC. And the importance of the CDC is that government money goes through the CDC and is distributed. It's like the grants, the money that come from the state via the federal government, that money can come directly to that CDC, and that CDC makes a decision as to who receives that money and what program and project that money is going to be applied to. Not being always on the begging side of the table. Oh, I hope I get this, I hope I get that. No, we can direct where the money goes to through the CDC. Anybody can start up a CDC, a group of neighbors, individuals. And it doesn't matter if you feel like you don't have the skill set. We got the skill set, okay? These are turnkey master operations. And we start you up at the level where you are. So individuals and an existing organization can start up a CDC. Churches can. Schools can. Business people can. Any like-minded people can start up and operate a CDC with our help. Certain amount of money, of those trillions of dollars that are being allocated year after year after year, building for our people, for us, for that money to come into us, to our operation within our neighborhood. One fund, and we're going to talk about again stuff that we need to know about. The one of the major funds that is out there is called the CDFI, the Community Development Financial Institution Fund. That is government money, just like these stimulus money that don't have to be paid back. It's money that is a fund that has been set aside into the trillions and trillions of dollars. And the CDFI, that's a federal government fund. That fund distributes money into certified CDFIs. Okay? These certified CDFIs take money and send it down to the CDC, you see. And this money, some of it is competitive, but most of it is not competitive. Most of it is not. And when I say into the trillions of dollars, I mean into the trillions of dollars. Right now, today, as of April 20th, 2020, there sits there money that have not been allocated or used. The money has been distributed, but it has not been used. This is a nationwide figure. This is money that's supposed to be our money. We have $2,179,061,401.32 that is just sitting there. They call it amount remaining that has not been used since 2018. So they wait so long for the money to be what they call like not defaulted or not used by our poor neighborhoods so that they can reallocate money, okay? The total amount of money that has gone into this fund been $57,451,514,999, okay? If we had that kind of money working in our neighborhoods since 2000, so for the past 20 years, our neighborhoods would not be looking the way that they're looking. Our people would not be as poor as we are. We should have businesses. $57 trillion. Or when we come back, because we almost don't have any more time, we're going to talk about where that money has gone to and who is controlling that money. That money was allocated through the CDFI fund for our neighborhoods. It has not happened. It has not happened. It's for expanding economic opportunities in low-income communities by providing access to these funding products and services for local residents and businesses, okay? Does that sound like our black people? Will anybody answer that question? Does that sound like our black people? That's what $57 trillion in the last 20 years is supposed to have done. And it certainly has not done that. But what it has done, it has gentrified our community. It has thrown us out of the planning. That's not what this money is supposed to be for. And I can share this with you in black and white then and read it for yourself. We've got 2 more minutes left. I want to say thank you to all of you for joining us tonight. We're here for you. I appreciate everyone. You know, everything that you're doing is being supportive. Want you to know that the phone number, what is that phone number, Jason? 984-244-0703. Feel free to call that number, text that number, leave a message about anything that we've talked about, starting up your own business, whether you may have a group who wants to do a CDC or whatever, anything that you would like more information on regarding what we've talked about, the James Cannon Broadcasting School. I want to say to everyone that I thank you. I appreciate you, Mr. Cannon. Appreciate you, Annetta, Jason, our team, our tech team, all of our audience for joining us again and for a very, very successful program. And we look forward to more and more. We look forward to building. We look forward to helping you in your local community to realize your dream to change your neighborhood and to get money into your community. That's what we're here for. Again, I thank you. I love you. Stay safe out there in everything that you're doing. Stay safe.
As I look out in the world, troubles are the same. I'm gonna fall down on my knees and call on Jesus' name. Now I'm here to testify how he brought me through. What God did for me, he'll do the same for you. Yes, he